Okay, welcome in, one and all. I'm now going to be reviewing all of Thursday's action from the NHL. There were 13 games on tap, so 26 out of 32 teams took to the ice looking for 2 points. Starting with the teams you see on your screen, respectively, between the San Jose Sharks and my Montreal Canadiens. Just when I thought this season the team couldn't possibly hit an absolute new low, all dip into it. So in the first, Kunin would kick things off with a Sharks getting his sixth goal of the season, 5 minutes and 19 seconds into that frame. Berlin would then add a goal late in that frame with 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining, making it 2-0 in favor of the Sharks. That would be his 12th goal of the season, assisted by Hurdle and Zadina. Gallagher would then score with 21 seconds after that, cutting the deficit to 2-1, getting his 7th of the season, assisted by Matheson and David Savard. So after 20 minutes of play, it was 2-1 in favor of the Sharks. Just a lone goal to report in the second period, I apologize. It would be Atyuk. He would get his first goal of the season for the San Jose Sharks, and that goal happened with 3 minutes and 16 seconds remaining. So after 40 minutes of play, it was 3-1 in favor of San Jose. In the third period, Josh Anderson would work the deficit to 3-2, his 7th goal of the season, assisted by Matheson and Caulfield, and that goal happened with 3 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the period. And unfortunately for the Habs, they weren't able to mount a comeback, so 3-2 would be the final score. So with that, the Sharks have now got their 10th win of the season. They're finally in the double-digit column when it comes to the wins, 10, 29, and 3. And with a loss, the Habs are now 17, 18, and 6. They're currently sitting 6th in the Atlantic Division. All right. Now we're off to Buffalo. We have the Sabres, and they're playing host to the Ottawa Senators. So the 7th and 8th seed, respectively, took to the ice in Buffalo, and we'll take a look at the goal scoring summary from this game. So in the first 9 minutes and 14 seconds into that frame, Peterka would open up the scoring, getting his 13th goal of the season, assisted by Cousins and Owen Power. Tarasenko would tie the game with just under 5 minutes remaining, 4 minutes and 54 seconds to be exact, getting his 9th goal of the season, tying it up all at one. 2 minutes and 22 seconds after that, Tage Thompson would give the Sabres a 2-1 lead, getting his 13th goal of the season, assisted by Rasmus Dahlin. And then, with just under 30 seconds remaining in the period, they had a power play, and Thompson would then get his 2nd goal of the game, his 14th of the season, assisted by Dahlin and Quinn. So after 20 minutes of play, it was 3-1 in favor of the Sabres. In the second, just a lone goal to report, Krebs would increase the lead to 4-1, getting his 3rd goal of the season, assisted by Robinson. So after 40 minutes of play, it was 4-1 in favor of Buffalo. Claude Giroux would cut the deficit in half, getting his 11th goal of the season, assisted by Greg just 43 seconds into that frame. He would then add a 2nd goal in that game with 8 minutes and 45 seconds to go. That would be his 12th of the season. And then Dylan Cousins would have an empty netter, getting his 7th goal of the season, making it 5-3. So with that, the Sabres are now 18, 20, and 4. And with a loss, the Ottawa Senators are now 14, 23, and 0. All right. Next matchup takes place in Carolina. We have the Hurricanes, and they're taking on the Anaheim Ducks. All right. Let's take a look at the goal scoring summary from this game. So in the first, with exactly 4 minutes remaining in the period, Brady Shea would give the Hurricanes a 1-0 lead, getting his 7th goal of the season, assisted by Jarvis and Stahl. Just 15 seconds after that, Svechnikov would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his 10th goal of the season, assisted by Aho and Teravainen. So after 20 minutes, it was 2-0 in favor of the Hurricanes. In the second, just 25 seconds into that period, Lundestrom, if I pronounced the name correctly, would get his 1st goal of the season for the Ducks, assisted by Leeson and McGinn. Martinook would then score about a minute and a half after that, giving the Hurricanes a 3-1 lead, assisted by Seth Jarvis. Ryan Strome would cut the deficit to 3-2, just over halfway into that period, getting his 5th goal of the season, assisted by Terry. Vatarno would get his 20th goal of the season, and since joining the Ducks, man, this guy's been lighting it up. Assisted by Henrik, that would be a power play goal with with 9 minutes and 7 seconds to go in the frame. We were all tied up at 3. But that lead didn't last long. Less than 4 minutes after that, Noeson would give the Hurricanes a 4-3 lead, recording his 11th goal of the season, assisted by Bunting and Kotkaniemi. And that goal happened with 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the period. Just over 2 minutes after that, on a power play, the Hurricanes would strike yet again, increasing the lead to 5-3, courtesy of Drury, and assisted by Noeson and Teravainen. So after 40 minutes of play, it was 5-3 in favor of Carolina. In the third, about halfway into the period, 9 minutes and 54 seconds to be exact, Seth Jarvis would score, increasing the lead to 6-3, 15th goal of the season, assisted by Burns and Martinook. That's the final score from this matchup, 6-3. So with the victory, the Hurricanes have now improved to 23, 13, and 5. And with the loss, the Ducks are now 12 games below 500, 14, 26, and 1. All right. Now we're off to the Motor City, where we have the Red Wings, and they played host to the Edmonton Oilers. All right. Let's take a look at the goal scoring summary from this matchup. So it's hard to believe that with these two offenses that it took all the way to the third period to finally open up the scoring. There was no scoring throughout the first 40 minutes of play. 3 minutes and 34 seconds into that third period, Kopp would give the Red Wings a 1-0 lead. McDavid would tie the game up 9 minutes and 12 seconds into that period, recording his 16th goal of the season, assisted by Zach Hyman. See, speaking of Zach Hyman, the guy has been absolutely out of this world this season. He would then give the Oilers a 2-1 lead with 6 minutes to go exactly, assisted by Nugent Hopkins and Ekholm. 2 minutes and 3 seconds after that, Olli Maatta would tie the game up, getting his second goal of the season, assisted by Raymond and Larkin. The game would be settled in overtime, where Darnell Nurse would get the game-winning goal, recording his 6th goal of the season, 1 minute and 20 seconds into the overtime frame. So with that, the Oilers are now 22, 15, and 1. And with the loss, the Red Wings are 20, 16, and 5. They are currently sitting 5th in that Atlantic Division, and the Oilers are now sitting 4th in that Pacific Division. So they're slowly creeping their way back in to the Pacific race, if you want to say it. All right. The next game takes place in Florida, where we have the Panthers, and they are playing host to the Los Angeles Kings. All right. Let's take a look at the goal scoring summary from this matchup. In the first, Trevor Moore would kick things off with the scoring, getting his 18th of the season, assisted by Deneau and Fiala, 6 minutes and 17 seconds in that opening frame. In the second, Sam Bennett would tie the game up, roughly 11 minutes into that period, his 8th goal of the season, assisted by Louis Steinen and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Drew Doughty would get a late power play goal for the Los Angeles Kings, giving them a 2-1 lead, his 8th of the season, assisted by Kempe and Kopitar, and there was just 21 seconds remaining in the period. In the third, with 2 minutes and 18 seconds to go, Matthew Tkachuk would tie the game up, getting his 12th goal of the season, assisted by Verhaeghe and Reinhart. So just like the previous game, they needed some extra time to settle this one. And what honestly looked like it was going to go to a shootout, it took until about there was 1 second left on the clock. Sam Reinhart would get a power play goal, his 30th goal of the season. This guy has been an absolute stud, assisted by Barkov and Sergei Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky would get on the score sheet. So with that, the final score would be 3-2 in favor of Florida. They have now improved to 27, 12, and 2. They're making a serious run for a top spot in that Atlantic Division. When it looked like the Bruins were going to have that division like hands down, they're being very competitive, to say the least. They're just kind of trying to prove that last year was no joke when they made it all the way to the Cup final. And as for the Kings, 20, 10, and 8 is where they stand at the end of this matchup. All right. Now we're off to Pittsburgh, where they had the Penguins playing host to the Vancouver Canucks. So I'll get the teams on the screen, and we'll take a look at the goal scoring summary from this matchup. In the first 5 minutes and 44 seconds in that frame, Besser would kick things off, getting his 26th goal of the season, assisted by Pettersson and JT Miller. Besser would then score less than a minute after that on a power play for the Canucks, getting his second goal of the game, his 27th of the season, assisted by JT Miller and Elias Pettersson. Now, there'd be a different Pettersson, but I think he's pronounced Peterson. Maybe he's Pettersson. Whatever it is. Marcus Pettersson from the Pittsburgh Penguins would finally give the Penguins on board, recording his first goal of the season, assisted by Harkins, and that goal happened with 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Elias Pettersson, wow, would then give the Canucks a 3-1 lead, recording his 21st goal of the season, assisted by Hronek and JT Miller. And that goal happened with 2 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the first. So after 20 minutes of play, it was 3-1 in favor of the Canucks. In the second, just a lone goal to report, Sidney Crosby would cut the deficit to 3-2, getting his 23rd goal of the season, assisted by Gensel and Marcus Pettersson. So after 40 minutes of play, it was still 3-2 in favor of the Canucks. The game honestly went down to the wire with just under 30 seconds to go. Crosby would notch his second goal of the game, tying the game up, his 24th of the season, assisted by Karlsson and Letang. So once again, just like the previous two games, we needed some extra time to settle this matchup, where Elias Pettersson would get his second goal of the game, assisted by Hronek, and that goal happened 3 minutes and 5 seconds in the overtime frame, or 1 minute and 55 remaining on the clock. So, with the victory, the Canucks have now improved to 28-11-3, and with the loss, the Penguins are 20-15-5. All right, let's take a look at the next game, which takes place in Tampa Bay, where we had the Lightning, and they played host to the New Jersey Devils. So we'll get those teams' logos on the screen, and I'll review the game here in just a moment. So in the first 7 minutes and 42 seconds in that frame, Mercer would kick things off for the Devils, getting his 13th goal of the season from Haula and Colin Miller. Glendening would tie the game up 12 minutes and 35 seconds in that period, getting his 6th goal of the season from Parabix and Austin Watson. Glendening would then get his second goal of the game, a shorthanded one, mind you, with a minute and 38 seconds remaining. So after 20 minutes of play, it was 2-1 in favor of Tampa Bay. In the second, 10 minutes and 34 seconds in that frame, Braden Point would get his 20th goal of the season from Kucherov and Parabix. Jesper Bratt would cut the deficit to 3-2 in the second period with 3 minutes and 6 seconds remaining. His 15th of the season from Marino and Toffoli. So after 40 minutes of play, it was 2-1 in favor of Tampa. Nick Batsian would tie the game up 3 minutes and 53 seconds, getting his second goal of the season. And just like the previous 3 games, we needed extra time to settle this matchup. 1 minute and 52 seconds in that overtime frame, Radish would get the game-winning goal, his 3rd of the season from Kucherov and Vasilevsky. So just like Bobrovsky, Vasilevsky got on the goal score sheet as well. So with the victory, the Lightning have now improved to 21-17-5. And with the loss, the Devils are 21-15-3. All right. Now the next matchup takes place in Washington. We have the Capitals, and they played host to the Seattle Kraken. Now, don't worry, there wasn't a 5th overtime game, so I think we should be okay here. All right, let's take a look at the recap from this game. It would be settled in regulation. Try to put it that way. All right, so in the first, Cardinal would kick things off for the Kraken, getting his 7th goal of the season from McCann and Larson. 8 minutes and 50 seconds in that frame. With just under 2 minutes to go, Wenberg would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his 7th goal of the season, assisted by Brandon Tanev, and that goal happened with 1 minute and 48 seconds to go in the frame. So after 20 minutes of play, it was 2-0 in favor of Seattle. In the second, Matt Pacioretty would finally get his first goal of the season since joining the Capitals, assisted by Ovechkin and Van Riemsdyk. 5 minutes and 47 seconds in that frame. And Justin Schultz at the end of that period would increase the lead to 3-1, getting his 4th of the season from Tolvanen and Bjorkstrand with 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. It was 3-1. In the third period, Adam Larson would increase the lead to 4-1, getting his 3rd goal of the season from Tanev and Schwartz. So 4-1 would be the final score. So the Seattle Kraken, who are getting red hot, I believe they've now won 8 or 9 in a row. They are now sitting at 18, 14, and 9. And with the loss, the Capitals are now 19, 14, and 6. All right, let's take a look at the next game, which takes place on Long Island, where we had the Islanders, and they were playing host to the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right, take a look at the goal scoring summary from this particular matchup. So in the first, Palmieri would kick things off just 40 seconds in that frame, his 10th of the season from Dobson and Barzal, a power play goal. McCann would tie the game up 12 minutes and 39 seconds in that frame, his 2nd of the season, assisted by Gregor and TJ Brody. So it was all tied up at 1 after 1. Austin Matthews would get his 32nd goal of the season, assisted by Marner and Matthew Nyes, 26 seconds in that second period. And then just over 2 minutes after, 2 minutes and 4 seconds to be exact. So 2 minutes and 14 seconds to be exact. Matthews would get the second goal of the game, making it 3-1, assisted by Holmberg. Romanov would cut the deficit to 3-2. Less than 2 minutes after that, 4 minutes and 18 seconds to be exact, assisted by Barzal and Dobson. And then with the power play, Bo Horvat would strike his 17th goal of the season from Dobson and Matt Barzal. And that goal happened with 6 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in that second frame. There were no goals to report in the third, so there was a 5th overtime. And then this time it would go to the New York Islanders. Just 21 seconds in that extra frame, Barzal would get the game-winning goal, his 12th of the season, assisted by Dobson. I believe that Dobson scored on almost every single goal, assisted on every single goal. Yeah, he had a 4-point night for the Islanders, so he had to have been the first star of the game. Oh, he was the second star, but still, 4 assists. That's a very good outing for any particular player. So with that, the Islanders have now improved to 19, 12, and 10. And with a loss, the Leafs are still in the top 3 of that Atlantic Division, 21, 10, and 8. All right, now we are off to St. Louis, where we have the Blues, and they are playing host to the New York Rangers. So I'll get the team's logos on the screen, and we'll take a look at this matchup. So Adam Fox would kick off the scoring in the first, getting his 5th goal of the season from Gaudreau and Lindgren, 1 minute and 51 seconds in that frame. Kyrou would tie the game up, getting his 10th of the season from Rob Thomas and Buchnevich, 4 minutes and 2 seconds in that frame. Kyrou would then strike again his 2nd goal of the game, his 11th of the season from Buchnevich and Thomas. Power play goal, 7 minutes and 30 seconds in that frame. So after 20 minutes of play, it was 2-1 in favor of the Blues. Brandon Saad would score in the third with getting his 10th goal of the season from Braden Shen and Torrey Krug, 9 minutes and 26 seconds in that period. A power play goal to note. So after 40 minutes of play, it was 3-1 in favor of the Blues. Kyrou would complete the natural hat-trick, getting his 12th goal of the season from Nick Leddy, 7 minutes and 1 second in that period. Trocheck would cut the deficit in half, getting his 13th goal of the season from Chris Kreider and Panarin, a power play goal with roughly 9 minutes remaining in the period. Buchnevich would put the game on ice, getting his 13th goal of the season from Sundqvist and Parayko, and that goal happened with just 18 seconds remaining in the period. So with the victory, the Blues are now sitting at 21, 18, and 1. And despite the loss, the Rangers are still atop of that Metropolitan Division, 26, 12, and 2. All right, now we'll take a look at the next matchup, which takes place in Winnipeg, where we have the Jets, the Red Hot Jets, playing host to the Chicago Blackhawks. All right, we'll take a look at the goal scoring summary from this matchup. There were no goals in the first, just a lone goal to report in the second. Murphy would kick things off, getting his 2nd goal of the season from Reichel and Gutman, 4 minutes and 19 seconds in that frame. So after 40 minutes of play, it was 1-0 in favor of Chicago. With 3.5 minutes to go, Velarde would tie the game up, getting his 10th goal of the season from Adam Lowry and Josh Morrissey. And then with just 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining, Ehlers would get the game-winning goal, his 15th of the season from Lowry and Dillon. So the Jets, who I believe they're now like 9-0-2 in their last 11 games, 28-9-4. They are top of that Central Division. And with the loss, the Blackhawks are 12-28-2. They're at the bottom of that same division. All right, take a look at the next matchup, which takes place in Arizona. The Coyotes were playing host to the Calgary Flames. Oops, wrong team. There we go. All right, let's take a look at the goal scoring summary from this particular matchup. And I'll just give you a heads up, it was a one-sided affair. In the first, Backlund would open up the scoring just 20 seconds in that period, getting his 9th goal of the season from Blake Coleman. Sharangovich would give the Flames a 2-0 lead, getting a shorthanded goal, his 15th of the season from Blake Coleman and Weegar. Anderson would increase the lead to 3-0, getting his 7th goal of the year from Kadri and Weegar, 7 minutes and 56 seconds in that period. With 6 minutes and 14 seconds, Krause would finally get the Coyotes on the board, cutting the deficit to 3-1. His 17th goal of the season from Nick Bustad and Machelli. Blake Coleman, who already had 2 assists before, would finally get on the goal scorer sheet himself, his 18th of the season from Tanev and Hanifin, and that goal happened with 6 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the frame. So after one period of play, it was 4-1 in favor of the Flames. In the second, just a lone goal to report. Clayton Keller would cut the deficit in half yet again, getting his 15th of the season, assisted by Logan Cooley and Matt Kesserling. And that goal happened just 1 minute and 44 seconds in that frame. Jump ahead to the third. Sharangovich would get his 2nd goal of the game, his 16th of the season from Huberdeau and Lindholm, just 58 seconds in that frame. And then Sharangovich would then complete the natural hat trick on a power play, getting his 17th of the season from Elias Lindholm and Jonathan Huberdeau, 7 minutes and 6 seconds in that period. So he got an even strength goal, a power play goal, and a shorthanded goal. Very rare that someone's able to achieve that in one particular game. So with that, the Flames are now 19-18-5, and with the loss, the Coyotes are 20-18-2. All right, let's take a look at the last game, which takes place in Las Vegas. We have the Golden Knights playing against the Boston Bruins. All right, let's take a look at the goal scoring summary from this particular game. There were no goals to report in the first 40 minutes of play, so we have to jump all the way ahead to the third period where Eichel would kick things off 7 minutes and 1 second in the third, getting his 19th goal of the season from Marchessault and Martinez, a power play goal to note. Grzelcyk would tie the game up with just under 8 minutes to go in the game, 7 minutes and 42 seconds to be exact, getting his 2nd goal of the season, assisted by Travis Frederick. Pietrangelo would get the game-winning goal in overtime. It just took 46 seconds in that extra frame, getting his 2nd goal of the season from Mark Stone and Jack Eichel. So, with the victory, the Vegas Golden Knights are 24-13-5, and despite the overtime loss, the Bruins are 24-8-9. Again, they're still atop of that Atlantic Division, but it's not as comfortable of a lead because the Panthers are breathing down their necks. So it's going to be a very tight race to see who is able to get that division crown. All right, that takes care of my recap from Thursday night's action of the NHL. If you like this type of content and you're new to this channel, please feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. As always, take care.